Most people are drowning in side hustles. I built an entire empire where every piece literally feeds the next. Right? Let me show you how that works from the top down. I basically want to break down a 50,000 foot view of really what it looks like, as I like to view it, as the official Justice Severin business map. All right. So once again, this is not going to be a tactical video. This is my why and the how behind the machine. All right. So, and this is the same machine that's generated me over $1 million, multiple 50K plus months, and multiple businesses running under one core umbrella. What's going on? My name is Justice Severin. I make these videos for coaches, experts, creators who are looking to build a wildly profitable personal brand without sacrificing their life and their freedom, and they want to keep that balance maintained. And the reality is you can do it if you build it the right way. And I want to give you, this is just a prime example here today with this video. So I want to go ahead and jump in, but right before we do, obviously, if you're new, drop a comment down below. Let me know if you're new and this is your first time. If you're coming back, you already know the deal. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You clearly like the stuff that I'm dropping. Keep soaking it up. Keep helping yourself out. Get to the tips faster, right? I'm here every single Wednesday dropping these at 4 p.m. Eastern, and this is no different here right now as I drop this one for you, all right? So let's go ahead and just jump straight into the goods here today to really get into this, all right? So out the gates, kind of really why I want to go through this idea of kind of islands and kind of why I've been building my umbrella in a sense here, this Justice Severin business map, if you will, this empire in these tiers, in these islands, in this sense here too. Because really, when you do it this way, it beats these kind of chasing these disconnected opportunities. I've been in this game long enough to where I can realize now that random hustle kills momentum. The more we really just kind of are going off of, in a sense, our gut, how we just kind of feel like how we should be moving. You're like, you know what? I got it. Like this just something about this kind of like, it seems like that could be cool. Like, let me just kind of go with that. That's why I say a lot of the times if we go off of our gut, it's a terrible thing. But if we go off of our gut when there's data involved, then that's a beautiful thing. It's the marriage of both instead of just them both in isolation, right? I do a lot better when Lauren, my wife, is in my corner versus when she's not. So it's like you want to keep the same idea. It's like, yes, you got your gut, but you want to make sure that you've got some data behind it. And so this particular video has honestly been inspired because I actually just locked arms with the RevShare opportunity that, I'm honestly excited about, and I view it as a major win-win for us all as far as that goes. But really, I'm bringing this up because, once again, one of the hardest things I believe you can do is say no to certain things, right? Especially when you see them being beneficial, right? Because you really have to have this ability to be able to stay in your lane. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. Let's just assume that, for myself, someone brought me a great real estate opportunity, right? It's like, once again, that could absolutely be beneficial. But the reality is I don't have a ton of knowledge around real estate. And yeah, I know some stuff about real estate, just like I'm sure you know some stuff about real estate. But it's like, let's be real with each other. Like when it comes down to it, to me, if we're talking real estate, stocks, a lot of money can be made in those lanes. For myself, the way my knowledge base is, I know a lot more about building businesses. So I'm going to potentially pour a lot more of my time and energy into that, right? Especially if you look at it percentages, you could argue 80 to 90% of where I focus my professional efforts are in that arena. I don't really spend much time in stocks and spend much time in real estate. Once again, I know enough maybe to be a little dangerous, but there's a difference between knowing enough to be dangerous and knowing enough to really take advantage of the leverage that you have, right? And so that's where, once again, I want you to think of it this way. If I ask you to map out your business right now, right, would your streams feed each other, right? Or are they completely kind of just competing for your time and energy? Because that's what would be happening if you're going too far over to the side. Now you just got stuff where it's like you're just learning new things. You're having to go so deep, and now you're pulling away from your main bread and butter. That's the last thing I want to see for you, right? So I want to be able to leverage my personal expertise and resources to give myself the largest advantage possible in any venture that I just basically deem worthy of my time. That's really the focus and philosophy here. So really, we want to just put that as like the foundation to really build off of too. And honestly, if you've already read my Client Magnet Funnel ebook, you're probably already a little bit, you can probably already know the philosophy in a sense here. And obviously, if you haven't, I'll link that down below so you can get that after this video. But really, there's 3 clear islands that basically I have on my 50,000 foot view business map here, if you will. And I want to just break down these 3 islands right now for you. Island number one, right? That's really, in a sense, my kind of core flagship program. That's really brand to clients, right? Like I said, this is my core program where really, once again, I'm helping coaches, creators, experts run my brand to clients operating system, aka the B2C operating system, right? And so on this island, this is really where we go deep on running the operating system. This is also where I've got my all-in-one software, my AIO system bolted there. I also have my virtual assistant agency bolted there. And everyone on this island, in a sense, when I think about it, it's like, all three of these kind of those main parts of the island I just mentioned, they all play nicely together, right? Because they all benefit from one another. I'll give you a quick little example here of like real life story for myself here. I used to, when I talked about, I mentioned the virtual assistant agency. I used to go out there and exclusively try to go make sales for the virtual assistant agency, and we made sales there on that side too. But there was effort, money, time invested, right? But in a sense too, when I look at it, it was just the margins that really were there. Especially when I look at the margins I'm used to with the high ticket space, especially in the high ticket coaching space, where there are very large margins here. I couldn't make logic out of that time, effort, money, resources, right? And so really that's why I basically switched to instead just focusing on folks through the main gate of my B2C, right? And instead kind of virtually getting leads who are paying me to get the offer in front of them. Leverage at its highest level here yet again here too. It changes the game when you can start adding leverage this way. So this is just a win overall because my clients really, they truly get and receive all of the tools needed to make it work. Leverage compounding on top of another, right? I have a client where, she runs a faith-based coaching business and really a faith-based offer as well too, where she came in barely breaking 2K a month, right? She implemented what I'm teaching and really just more so implemented the B2C operating system, plugged into the software, got the VA support, and less than 30 days later, she actually broke about 10.5K cash collected in her first month, right? So she didn't have more chaos. It came back towards she actually removed it. And it's with these elements that we're talking about here. And so that's everything that I'm really teaching, doing within that first island. That really is just such a powerful piece. It's something that's an island that I've been living and playing on, for me real for about like 4 or 5 years. And that's something where it's a large bread and butter in the business. So that's island number one. Now let's get into island number two. This is now what I like to consider as the premium layer, right? So this is where I go deeper inserting myself personally into select businesses, really in order to squeeze more juice out of that particular business in a sense here, right? So they are really, if we're viewing this like a stadium, like these are the elite box seats inside of my business basically, right? So on this island, I'm focusing really in these kind of core 3 areas. And this is in no particular order. One is private one-to-one clients, right? So this is really when I take on a one-to-one client, it's because I can go deep and create massive impact. And we'll talk about some of the benefits, maybe beyond like the additional price tag for that, right? The other side of that, the second element inside of here, the second core area, that's the rev share deals, right? So really when I partner in revenue share, right, I'm basically bringing my systems into another business where the upside is shared, right? Where I am actually making, it's not like when I'm just doing pure coaching. Here, you paying up front, you take this, you take what I teach you, go implement that and make money off of it forever. This is now a situation where, hey, let's go ahead. Either there's a smaller upfront with a larger percentage or a higher upfront and a lower percentage in the back end. And then I go ahead and we share it, right? So like, I just even mentioned like, just quick little, I guess reality of what this can look like. I just signed on, like I mentioned earlier in this video, a new rev share deal with an awesome client and an awesome company, if you will, in the credit space. And for that, they have a list of over 65,000. And really, I think they really honestly have like a list of over like 100,000 as we've been diving into this here, of leads that have just been kind of neglected, and instead of kind of breaking down the strategy for them to implement, I'm just stepping in, bringing to really kind of bring sales opportunities to their plate. And honestly, every time I do that, I end up getting a cut and the music keeps playing, So that's really, and this is just stage one, right? In the future, we'll be primed for paid ads and other channels to tap into as well. But just imagine, for me, everything that I've known, done, built, have even just existing from island number one, right? All the skill sets and knowledge and leverage I built up. You've heard what I have there. Imagine having 60,000 plus leads just sitting there and knowing exactly how to monetize them. That's the kind of stuff, that's what this island is made for. For me to come in and flex my muscles in a different niche. And a lot of times, too, with these niches, I have even more opportunity because, or more low hanging fruit because just because like where I play in this make money online niche where I don't want to say it's crowded, but there's certain language that you can't get away with as easily, where in other spaces it's not so common. So that's just, once again, like, it just gives me a great opportunity. Then the third core area is really the high ticket kind of fully done for you opportunities. This operates honestly very similar to the rev share, but with more of a focus on leveraging the systems and building it out for them. Right, typically for this, there's little to no rev share, but there are some continuity, if you will, on this side here too, with some recurring, but that's a little bit different here too. So that's island number two, right? So now if we get into it, island number three, this is now, if you will, kind of, in my mind, I view it as like the family business. But really, the family business, I would argue, goes over all of these islands, if we're being real. But the family business slash kind of diversification island. That's really how I view this one here. So this is where I expand the model and really I wear my chief marketing officer hat alongside other hats inside of, really, especially in this case, my wife Lauren's business, Ethereal Aesthetics, right? So she's in the beauty industry, and really this one hits home for me because my wife is the operator of that business, right? And it's inside of an industry where I feel like the professionals inside of it, it's a very hustle culture in the sense of if you want to make good money. And I think that I have even seen, though, with being, deeper into it recently, where there are people out there who have found a beautiful balance, right? And I think that it's knowing how to take advantage of that, knowing how to build out to start. We're fortunate that even before we actually started the business of it, we launched that business right, it was April of this year, April 2025, right? And so we did that then, and we were fortunate to have enough clientele with it that we're able to really implement a lot of these kind of core pieces I even have on my first island with B2C branded clients, where there's these freedom elements that we can start to bring in. You could easily argue that when you're early on in a business, you kind of have to do stuff that you don't want to do, and I think that doesn't matter what the industry is. It's because you're trying to build up, especially if it's a service-based business. You got clients you're serving, right? You kind of have to go that route. You're not being handed stuff that's just like, all right, go, whatever the case may be. So this is where it's been really awesome to kind of build this out so that we can really bridge the gap between kind of what is that hustle culture there and creating that type of freedom that doesn't sacrifice income that I know that she'll be happy with. I know that folks work with will be happy with, right? So similar to some of the rev share deals, because of the niches they're in, when I bring in stuff that works for me in my coaching business, things tend to perform 10x as well, if you will, compared to the Make Money Online pool, like I said there, right? So and yet again, that's where most of my time is spent on Island One. So what I've done in this exact area within the beauty space, I've done so far is able to bolt on ads, organic marketing, automation into this beauty industry. In this example, this is just proof that what I do is not a justice only playbook. What I'm doing inside of island number 2 and island number 3 here, it just validates the reality of the real skill sets that have been built up. And that, when I think about myself, this all ties back into it. My skill sets are my leverage. My skill sets are my cheat code, right? I put out a video the other day about how business has cheat codes, and that's exactly what I mean. Like, you don't have to start from a blank page. Don't have to have this blank page syndrome. So don't lean into or don't buy into that. It's not even that people are selling you on that, it's that you are selling yourself on it and no one's telling you that you have to do that to yourself. But you're trying to be perfect for like all the wrong reasons. It's like I would argue you're gonna achieve perfection faster by leaning into your leverage. All right. So those are my kind of core 3 islands. Now I'll tell you this up front. Most people blow it when it comes down to trying to kind of create their own islands in a sense here, because they're treating all of them individually. As a creator online, you're really shooting yourself in the foot with that mentality. Here's 3 areas that I kind of see folks kind of just traps they're falling into over and over, right? Number 1, treating every stream like a separate hustle. Like you need to stop doing that. And once again, think about how one can help the other, right? Even in a sense to think about how I'm mentioning these other two islands, yet you could argue that this video may be attracting more people on the first island. But I'm still leveraging all by even just the fact that I'm bringing it up, right? So stop treating them like a separate hustle, right? Number two, adding offers for short-term cash instead of long-term synergy. This is exactly what I mean when I was bringing up the ideas around real estate, stocks. This is no one is telling you that you can't invest your money there. The reality is how do you want to invest your energy? How do you want to invest your time? You probably shouldn't be going crazy in that direction just for the cash grab. You got to be thinking long term. In a sense, given you could argue if you're making more money by leaning into your core passion or your core place that you have the most leverage, take some extra funds there, give it to someone else to build up your stock portfolio. But get a financial advisor. Like I'm just saying that in reality, go where you can get the most gains long term. Stop thinking so short minded as far as your energy goes because you only have so much time that you can give. Don't go for that's why we talk about in the stock market 8% returns are very good. In a business is one of the places where you can absolutely crush those. And it comes from you having enough leverage to really make that happen, right? Number three, scaling chaos instead of leverage, right? And in my sense, in 2022, even if I think about it, I got caught up in that game heavily and it cost me thousands of dollars and what felt like even like a year of my time, right? I mean, I say it wasn't really a year of my time because really I do believe that I gained, a ton of experience to tell you honestly right now the right way about doing things. But this is one of those pieces where like you can set yourself up if you focus on keeping things simpler. You focus on simplicity over hustle, simplicity over trying to bring on everything, right? I'm very intentional with the projects and the things that I allow onto my core islands. And so, in a sense, let's just think about it this way. If I asked you to map out your empire right now, would the pieces actually be talking to each other? That's a question you need to ask yourself, right? And honestly, like if obviously that can be maybe it feels like a simple question, maybe it's like I don't even feel like the empire is built like there's just too much missing. So if you honestly even want help doing this, like this is what I do inside a brand of clients. So if you want to see the details on that, you can see them down, link down below in the description there. I've got all that there too. No opt-ins or anything like that. But really, you need to be treating your empire. You need to be treating all of this. You need to be treating it like a flywheel, right? Each arm of your business, in a sense, it can truly fuel exponential growth if you set it up the right way, right? It's all about setting it up the right way. And so really, in a sense for me, it's like, paid ads and organic traffic, these things feed my coaching program. Those clients feed my AIO system and my virtual assistant agency. Those feed results into my premium tier, right? Well, like I said, the higher level piece on this side here too, right? And so this is where now premium tier clients give me new case studies, right? These make the foundation even stronger, which helps to kick back into my island on that end there, right? Like I mentioned too, I had that client who was going barely at 2K months. They potentially could have came into their premium layer, if you will, too, as far as that island goes. They started off in island one, then from there things went well. They end up on island two, my premium tier. It ends up being a case study. Now I get to go ahead and talk about them in this video right now. I get more testimonials from it. It's all of this stuff is just circulating, giving more fuel to the big picture, right? And this is where stuff can get really good, right? And then if we even think about it too, my VA agency and my AIO system are used to completely run the sales and marketing department for the beauty business. Like this made it extraordinarily simple for me to quickly lean into the same leverage points that I've been running in my coaching business and in my rev share deals, my premium one-to-one, and bring them into this one. And because I automate, delegate, and keep my calendar open across the board here, I can go deeper with clients instead of just adding more sales calls to my week, right? I truly believe that the leaner I keep things, the deeper I can go with what's on my plate instead of just piling on and burning out. There's something, and this came from even when I mentioned back in 2022, I had about like 8 to 12 team members at a certain point. And there's something that I really realized once, at the top of 2023, I basically cut it back down to 4. And what I realized really quickly is that, where energy goes, energy flows. And if you're giving energy out to 8 to 12 different people, and then you condense it to 4, there's more benefits in the fact, just the fact that like your profit margins are probably now larger. It's like you could probably go way deeper and help get more back from each person. I would argue especially if it's messy and chaotic when you have the 8 to 12, you're going to get more out of the four, out of the core group there. And it's going to do better for the business. And so really this is why in a sense too, the more I kind of go deeper in this and keep things lean, the more money each piece in that example, each person tends to make me. And this is where it's just another area yet again where it's quality over quantity. It's going to win every single time, right? You don't have seven offers. Here's what you don't want. You don't want to have seven offers that are just pulling in different directions just because you can, right? Like build for depth, not for width. Your empire is going to grow when each part honestly strengthens the other. That's where stuff really gets jumpy. It's not about being everywhere at once, right? And now, honestly, like if I could start off with a blank slate, like it's like, hey, Justice, if you woke up tomorrow with no team, no clients, no offers, like what would you do? And I'll tell you right now, like let me give you this as like basically a 90-day rebuild plan, right? Bullet point number one, rebuild island number one first. This is the fastest path to cash. This is the cash flow that can help to fuel everything else, right? For me, before I ever spent a dime on ads, I made $300,000 online purely organically. It's like the money I made there, it helped to give assets, it helped to give dollars to budget, it helped to fuel everything then once I started throwing fire on the gas with paid ads. When I started to build my team, it's like I was building off of a foundation that was already successful. So rebuild island number one, find your version of island number one first to get that cash rolling. Bullet point number two, you now want to bolt on tools plus support early for client results. This is the kind of place where now, how can we start to simplify, automate, potentially delegate? Like, spotlight those areas. And like I said, too, don't look to expand too quickly. Look for the places that will have the largest impact, right? There are sometimes these third-party softwares are the case. They can add such a dramatic impact, positive impact to your business compared to you, like even adding on a person sometimes, which might seem like a person could be better. But a lot of times you can just be overpaying people and getting not enough back, right? Especially just because you don't have experience enough to know how to set it up the right way, right? And that's a bullet point number three. You want to now start looking for and adding premium partnerships, ideally around like that 90-day mark when the core is stable. I say looking for, right? You don't have to find them from at 90-day mark, but start looking, start keeping keep your ears to the ground, see what's available, see what's possible for you to start to leverage, because you now have a better understanding of the leverage that exists currently, right? And that's the last bullet point would be expand into other niches or another niche. I would just go really one niche to start, just like I have with the third island. Only when the first flywheel is running on its own, right? So that's really what I'd say. And and if obviously if you want up to like drop an empire in the comments if you want me to break down one of the just one of these three islands in full detail in my next video, I'd be more than happy to do that. Drop an empire below and let me know which one. But really, this all combined is what these three islands. This is what makes the Justice 7 business map. This is what makes the empire tick. And like I said, I can go super deep tactically on all of them, but I do believe that there is a power in you understanding the bigger picture, how they all play in together, why I'm not just throwing on random stuff. When people bring opportunities to me, and people, the bigger you get, the more people start to bring stuff to your plate here. That's why I'm telling you, you need to be able to get good at saying no, even when it's beneficial, because it's not just about it being beneficial. It's about how it can be beneficial in the big picture. And that's where this hits. Hope this hit home for you here today. I'm telling you, this is another one that just hits home for me just because it's something I'm living day to day in the business, right? So once again, now you've kind of seen even like how my offers are built here, from foundation to the premium layer to the expansion plays, and more importantly, even just like how they all connect. So obviously, like if you want the exact system on your side to attract high ticket clients to even like every single part of your empire without chasing, burning out, or kind of playing this algorithm lottery system here, you definitely need my free ebook, The Client Magnet Funnel. It's once again inside it. The link is down below in the description. I walk through the same one-page funnel that's helped my clients, even like Brianna closed, 10K in her first 45 days. Alan, he closed 17K in his first 30 days or in a 30-day span. And Nick closed 19K in the first 8 days of the year. It's simple, it's lean, and it's built to sell while you focus on serving your clients and actually scaling your business. All right. So you can download that now completely for free in the description and start building yours today. And obviously, too, if you want to kind of even take that one step further, I'll link the video up top here. I actually also have a free masterclass that goes with it. If you want to actually, once again, feel free to kind of grab that, grab my ebook below, and then you kind of go straight to watching and reading along. So just so that you can, implement accordingly inside of your own business, right? So sure to basically just help you kind of dial everything in much faster. So once again, appreciate you being there. If you got some value, smash that like button. Definitely subscribe if you want to see these videos coming up. Like I said, I'm here every single Wednesday dropping them for you. But I'm going to go ahead and take off for now.